Hi everyone, welcome to my new video. Today I want to talk about Mikhaila Peterson's all-meat diet because I think that there's a lot to learn from her experience. A lot of you probably already know her story, but if you don't, I'll summarize it quickly for you here. So Mikhaila Peterson, daughter of Jordan Peterson, was very sick from a very young age. She had an autoimmune condition which led to very bad arthritis and depression. Traditional mainstream medicine did not do much to help her. She still struggled with her health a lot. At some point she started to do her own research and she found out that her problems might be caused by various food sensitivities and that a change in her diet might help her. So she started to eliminate various foods from her diet, and at some point she found out that the diet of beef, salt and water was the best for her, and her arthritis and depression went away. Her father, Jordan Peterson, also is on this diet, and he says that it helped him resolve his health issues as well. So first I want to talk a little bit about whether it's reasonable to believe them, because a lot of people don't. Personally, I'm inclined to believe them, and here's why. They had been already wealthy and famous prior to this whole lion diet thing, and I think it just takes a special kind of evil nutcase to just make up something like this. I also know for sure that food can be incredibly powerful medicine. Also, there's evidence that removing some food groups might help people with autoimmune issues. So in my personal opinion, there's got to be at least some truth to what she's saying. That doesn't mean, however, that I encourage you to do the same. I have no opinion on the matter. Eating beef for the rest of your life sounds a bit dangerous to me, but then again, living with her symptoms is pretty dangerous too, so I don't know what course of action is right for someone in her situation. I personally tried low-carb keto diet, I also tried all-meat diet. I was incredibly miserable. I don't want to do this to myself ever again. My diet of colorful fruits and vegetables, lots of leafy greens, lots of omega-3, not too much omega-6, bone broth, whole grains and no added sugar is working so much better for me. My diet alone took care of at least 50% of my symptoms. I also tried to live without gluten, grains, eggs and dairy, and it did not make any difference to me whatsoever. That doesn't mean that Mikhaila Peterson is lying, it just means that the underlying reasons for her health issues are very different to mine. And just in general, I don't think the perfect diet that suits every single person on earth exists, and I'm very skeptical towards people who claim such things. It takes trial and error to find out what works for you. If you are someone who has an autoimmune condition, I would highly recommend to look into the work of Dr. Terry Walls. Terry Walls is a medical doctor, a researcher. She herself had multiple sclerosis that she reversed with diet, and since then she specializes on reversing autoimmune conditions with diet. And she has a lot of success doing that. She has written books, gave a TED Talk. She has a YouTube channel, just Google her and you will find everything. So if I had an autoimmune condition personally, I would go in that direction. It seems a bit less extreme. All in all, I did not make this video to advocate for or against all-meat diet. I'm not qualified to have opinion on the matter, and more research has to be done to say anything specific on this. I did this video mainly because Mikhaila's story is another perfect example of how screwed up our medical system is. Mikhaila did not invent elimination diet. She did not discover that diet can treat autoimmune conditions. The information and the research was already there. Yet most doctors have no idea about it. In that sense, her story is very similar to mine. And in my opinion, this is happening because of how much power Big Pharma has over medical education, research, and medical regulatory agencies. Half of FDA budget comes from the companies they are supposed to regulate. It's ridiculous. This is not a scientific issue, it's political and economic issue. Economic power is concentrated in the hands of pharma companies, and because of it they can influence everyone else. Current system prioritizes profitable treatments. This intensifies and prolongs suffering of so many people. And Mikhaila's father plays an active role in keeping things the way they are, by constant fear-mongering about socialism and insisting that deregulated capitalism is the best thing that ever happened to humanity. Deregulated capitalism in healthcare is a disaster. In free market, profitable treatments win, and people get less than optimal healthcare. Mikhaila will never get her joints back. They are gone. Not to mention the insanely high prices for some medications because of how inelastic demand in pharma industry is. In fact, this whole debate about how big or small the government should be seems a little ridiculous to me because it depends. In a lot of cases the government should leave people alone, but sometimes it should strictly regulate or even own industries because it's vital to our survival. I think the real question should be not how much the government does, but whose interest it represents. Does it serve all the voters or just a handful of so-called elites? Government is not the only place that totalitarianism can come from. Concentration of money in hands of very few people make it really easy for the corporate totalitarianism to flourish. I've talked about this already in my previous videos and I want to say it again. I think that one of the best ways to fight corporate totalitarianism is right of first refusal. This is a policy that gives workers the right to buy out a company after the initial owner retires if they want to do so. This policy doesn't stifle productive creative endeavor. It creates functional hierarchies of competence and it gives more power to the mass of people instead of a handful of CEOs and politicians. That applies to industries in general. Healthcare in particular needs to be incredibly strictly regulated or nationalized altogether because what we have right now is clearly not working. I personally think that pharmacological industry is one of the few things that should not be a business. Human health and lives are much more important than material things. We can create a system where the researchers who made medical breakthroughs get generously rewarded, regardless of how profitable their discoveries are. I'm so tired of treating myself through the internet. If you are interested to know more about the shortcomings of current healthcare system, I recommend you watch a Deutsche Welle documentary on this topic. I will link it down below. There you can see experts who have the same concerns as I do. I'm not the only one that thinks that what's going on right now is terribly wrong. If you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for watching.